Hello and welcome back to the Eyes of Oak channel. This is my first Conan Exiles stream, so welcome and thank you for joining me here. Just gonna go right into it. So for this stream, this upload, I'm just doing kind of a before picture is what I'm calling it. Which is, if you think about like those before pictures, whenever people try to sell you those exercises or diets or whatever, they always have that before picture where someone's like overweight and just looks really sad and just depressed and gross. And then the after picture is their bright smiles, makeup, everybody's happy, they're fit, they're happy. That's kind of what I'm doing here. So this is my before picture of my Conan Exiles. I play offline in solo offline mode. Now, although I do play in solo offline, I do all the resource harvesting and everything just like on PvE or PvP servers. I don't spawn in anything. I actually go and I harvest everything, refine everything the way that you would on any of the other servers, and then I build my bases. And what I try to do is I try to take, like make a base that seems like it could be something that's feasibly historical. So something that could have been functional in a historical setting, and mix that with something that is really just like a, I guess, Hollywood historical. So it's kind of that fusion of historical and fantasy, just like Conan, really. Now, I don't have too much to show you right now. I did have a previous save where I had all kinds of structures built and that kind of thing. However, I ended up using the admin controls. I was going in to fight the abyssal or abysmal remnant, whatever that thing is called. And it totally glitched out on me. And I ended up having to use admin controls just to kill the thing. So ever since then, I just felt really bad about it, and I don't like to use admin controls. So I just wiped that save, started a new save. And this is where I'm at. I'm just gonna pause that for now. So basically, I had started a floor plan here. Just gonna build a nice big base along this area. But I noticed that over here, there's usually like a mini boss that spawns in here, and I guess probably due to like a land claim, he's not spawning. So I'm gonna have to pick up and move this base. Basically, I'm just gonna smash all this stuff down and rebuild. And where I'm thinking of rebuilding, because I do like the area with the lake here. Kind of a neat setting. So you have the lake there, and then you have the like that sulfur lake really close by. So my plan is to kind of build in this area here, and I want to build, like I said, I'm going to build something that's sort of like a functional historical fortress, and then mix that with some obvious Conan fantasy, so it's not going to be totally like, if you're like a crazy history buff, it's not going to be exactly for a certain time period or anything. Anyway, so my plan is to build this base kind of up here, just to give myself a bit of an overlook, and then I want to build down into this area, kind of like in this basin here. I want to put a mini sort of village area and then wall it all in, and I have purges turned on. In my last playthrough playthrough I didn't have purges on, so I want to see if the bases that I do make can actually stand up to a purge. So even though they're again kind of historical, kind of fantasy, we'll see if it can actually stand up to some punishment, and if it just falls apart, it'll be a good test. The thing is, like, you know, that's why I don't play on PvP or anything like that. Like, PvP, you build a base, and you can't really build, like, a historical base, because if you build a base how you would expect it to be, people just, you know, there's too many game mechanics that it just makes it so that it doesn't really work. You can find ways to get in, right? That you end up having to build a base that's like really just designed for the game rather than designed from a perspective of someone who would have had a base in like a Bronze Age or something like, or an Iron Age, I guess, maybe not Bronze Age, but even like a Roman style fortress, like when they were on the move, that kind of thing. I don't know what the proper term for that is. Just a camp, I guess, but they had like fortified camps. So yeah, so it's, again, that's why I like to play on these solo offline, but I'm going to harvest all the resources just like normal. It's going to take me forever, but I will get that done and then show you what I've got in the after, which will be hopefully a little bit more impressive than just a partially done floor plan. Right now I'm just going over to show you what I started with. Not too much, but just to give you kind of an idea of what I'm using to sort of supply my new base that I've started with. I had a different idea when I first started this. I was going to build like this huge castle up on a mountain. And I started, and I was getting all the resources and refining and going through the whole process. And then I realized that it was way up on a mountain, and I was so far away from all the resources that it was just taking so long just to transport the materials to build the base. And it seemed sort of counterintuitive, because the whole point of having the base is you're guarding a strategic area. And if everything is so far away from you, it's not really that strategic. It's more like you're just building the base to have a base. I might go back to it eventually once I have things kind of where I want to go. But for now, it's I'm gonna put that on hold, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. I got attacked by a purge there as well, and everything started spawning within the mountain itself, so it didn't seem like a very good area anyway, even just to test the to see if the bases could stand up to a purge, right? If nothing can attack you, if it all spawns within the mountain, it's not a very good test. So yeah, so we're just, sorry, this is a bit of a hike. Usually what I do when I play these, I like to set up a base, like kind of an outpost at different areas of the map. So something more in the southern area, like in where the river is, kind of a desert base, and then a northern base and everything. In this particular playthrough, I've chosen to go with, again, it's that mix of historical and fantasy. So my character, his name is Arminius, which I don't know if any of you have a knowledge of Roman history, but Arminius, he was a Germanic, Proto-Germanic barbarian, I guess you could say, who was taken by the Romans, trained in Roman style of combat. And then he actually ended up leading a rebellion against Rome on behalf of the German people, or the German tribes. So he's kind of like a German Roman, and that's kind of what I want to do with this as well. Is I want to make like use some of the building pieces that are like kind of Hellenic, Roman inspired, and then also have some northern stuff going on, so more Germanic, that kind of thing. And then I also want to end up having thralls that are also representative of that. So that's kind of the ultimate plan. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully that all works out. Again, it's kind of a slow process. Like I could just use the admin controls and get all this stuff set up and get all the materials that I need to build these, but I think it just takes away. I would really like to see this game have more single player options to make it actually fun as a single player. As I said, PvP, I just have no interest, because you know everything that you do ends up being set up and geared towards the game aspect, which I know is obvious, but it kind of takes away from that ability to build those really aesthetically pleasing, historical looking bases. And that is my main drive why I really enjoy these games. So obviously, if I'm going to play the game and enjoy it, I'm going to play it how I want to play it, which is not being sort of beholden to those PvP kind of attributes that you need to build the base around. The other thing is with PvE, I could do that, but I'd have to have a really good group of people that I'm playing on a server with. You know, you get to a place and you know, there's maybe an area that you really want to have a base in, and somebody else has claimed it already, or you know, you can't build in a certain area because you're gonna make things not spawn properly, or you're blocking off something. You know, there's just so many things. You're really at the mercy of the people you're playing with then. And I really prefer to play it how I want to play it. So anyway, this was kind of my starter home, where I first kind of began building up some resources. So I've got a lot of, I'm trying to get some insulated wood going, because I do plan to have a northern base at some point. Mostly for thrall farming in that, what is that, New Asgarth? Asgarth? I'm not really sure. But that's the plan. Just to fill my bases with a bunch of Germanic type soldiers, and I'm also going to try to get, I know that you can get Lemurian, however you say that, thralls. So that's the other plan, is to have that mixture of sort of Roman and Germanic, really, is what I'm going for with this playthrough. So this, don't worry, this is just like a very starter home, just to get things going. And something, if anybody knows the answer and would like to say in the comments. So I built this place, and everything was fine. I didn't add anything to it. As you can see, all these hyenas are spawning. Let's just go see. It was doing this before. Oh no, now they're spawning. So for a long time, this camp was not respawning. I don't know why. I just kept logging in, and it just wasn't spawning. And I have no idea why. Now it's spawning, so that's good. And I just run away, run away, run away. valiantly running away. Balls involved in that. Oh, I don't have my shield. Hotkey. Yeah. So, we'll just quickly... Again, I'm actually harvesting everything. I need to take advantage of those drops when I get them. Make that. I'll show you kind of what I started with as well, just so you have an idea. So my original plan was to build up on this cliff here, which it's a really neat area. It's a nice big flat space, so you would think it would make an awesome base, which you probably could build something pretty interesting. The problem that I was running into, like I said, was because I'm trying to build something that is maybe a little bit more, something that I can test, right? Something that I can see, okay, you know, could this withstand a purge? And unfortunately, whenever a purge comes here, I've only had one, so everything was spawning within this cliff. So it wasn't actually attacking. There was a few things spawning down here, but nothing could make it up there. Which, you know, I guess is good. It's nice and protected, but it doesn't really serve the purposes that I wanted to test here. I wanted to see if it could actually withstand something. So I'm just gonna take this elevator up when it gets down here. It's a long way up. It's interesting, all my blocks here. I had to place a bunch of blocks when I was climbing it initially. I found there is an easier way up here on the other side of this mountain, but I guess I didn't do enough scouting the first time. So I ended up just climbing this side. And basically, as I was climbing, I would just give myself little rest stops. And I could actually make it. Bearing in mind, I also did this climb when I was at level, I don't know, 5. So it was initially very difficult. Yeah, so this is my original concept. I don't know if you're hearing that, but this battle music is getting really annoying. It just, for some reason it's glitched now, and it just never stops. It just keeps playing over and over. So this was my original sort of concept. I'm just going to build a base up here and build a nice big castle. Had everything on the go, but I just found that moving all the resources up here, it was just way too time consuming. So I think I'm just gonna stick with that other base, and we'll see what happens with this one. I might come back here and get it going again sometime, but for now I'm just gonna leave it. See what happens. I don't have decay on, so it should stay. Yeah, this side, if you want to get up here, see on the map where this is. So here it's this stand right by that. It's this big cliff. If you do want to get up here, this is probably the better side to come up from. It's a lot easier. Just as an idea. But anyway, so yeah, so like I said, this is my before picture. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna work away at that and try to cover as much resources as I can from that original base that I was putting up in the Oasis area there. Move it over, and then just see what I can do there. I want to do something more like a, yeah, like kind of a fantasy style Roman, maybe even early Middle Ages German castle is kind of the idea. I know that sounds really weird, but it's kind of a fusion of things. So I want to put that together, and then test it with a purge and see. I'll show you. I do have oh, I'm about to get a purge, so we'll see. They might it might take care of that old base all on its own, or if it spawns here. I don't really know how the purge mechanic works, to be honest. Like, you know, if I'm nowhere near this base, will they still spawn over here? I don't know. If they do, then I guess I'll need to destroy this one. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I will leave it for now, and then I'll show you once I have... Probably I'll give you an update once the floor plan is all done, because that can be pretty time consuming as well. And then we'll start putting up the walls, and then just keep going from there. And while I have that going on, I'm probably going to keep taking some thralls and just gathering resources, trying to just make sure that I have enough resources to actually build up that base, and build some subsequent bases as well. Right now the plan is base I'm not going to worry about anymore. This is my new kind of base over here. It's going to be right here. Another base up north here. I think somewhere either beginning or at the end of it's like that claw thing. I don't know how else to describe that. The mountains. There's a ton of iron in here. It's a really good place for a base. I've had it before. I want to build this more as like wood, very kind of Germanic looking, and essentially use it to harvest thralls from this area. And then I'm also planning to have at least some kind of an outpost over in this corner, so that I can get those Lemurian thralls as well. I think they spawn somewhere, and maybe I can take over one of these islands or farm some thralls. It'll be a process, and then move them all, relocate them over here. But yeah, I think it's worth it. It's a long process, but like, I love these sandbox games where you can do whatever you want and just make your own story as you go, and just do what made. Anyway, till then, thank you, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.